A crescent moon, thin and silver as the edge of a dime, shone on the lone stallion. With nervous steps, he crossed the river, then picked his way up the bank to the dark and silent Riverbend Ranch. It was midnight. No dogs barked, no coyotes howled, and no night birds called an alarm. The high Nevada desert had lost its daytime heat and every creature slept, except Samantha Forster. For weeks, Sam had waited through the night, hoping the silver Mustang who'd once been hers would return. Tonight, after she'd fallen asleep, questioning knickers from the saddle horses had wakened her. Sam had run on tiptoe downstairs to the kitchen. She didn't dare turn on a light or fling open the door to the ranch yard. Wild as any deer or wolf, the Phantom had good reasons to flee from humans. Just weeks ago, he'd been roped and confined in a corral. Since the night she'd helped to free him, the Phantom hadn't been back. Standing at the kitchen window, Sam could only watch. What she saw confused her. The stallion stalking toward the ranch wasn't Silver. He wasn't galloping with liquid grace. He wasn't the Phantom, and he wasn't supposed to be here. Fighting to see through the darkness, Sam opened her eyes so wide they burned. She pressed so close her nose touched the window pane. Her breath fogged the glass as she whispered, "Who are you?" As if he'd heard, the horse stopped. His tail switched over thick haunches. He shook his shaggy mane before lifting a head that seemed too big for his sturdy neck. He studied the round pen in front of him and the white house with green shutters on his right. His ears aimed down the gravel road toward the barn and small pen where a white-faced, hair-fulled calf stared back. The stallion turned toward the big pasture and paraded along the fence. A dozen tame horses edged closer, heads bobbing as they watched. Sam couldn't hear their snorts and nickers, but she knew the horses were talking. Frustrated, Sam brushed overgrown bangs back from her eyes. No, the stallion didn't look like the Phantom, but what were the chances another wild horse would just trot across the river and down the Forsters' driveway? 0, that's what. The Phantom had been born on Riverbend Ranch. Sam had hand-raised him from a wobbly-legged foal to a swift 2-year-old. Only a terrible accident had parted them, but the Phantom had remembered her, and he'd come back. This horse didn't move like the Phantom, but Sam needed a closer look. She turned the knob, opened the door a few inches, sucked in her stomach, and almost slipped through. When her nightgown snagged on the wooden door frame, Sam gave it a tug. It came loose with a soft rip. The heavy-headed stallion wheeled just long enough to see who'd launched this ambush. He wasn't white, but a sifting of pale hair flickered in the weak moonlight as the stallion headed toward the river. The tame horses neighed in excitement as the wild one galloped along the fence. When the horse abandoned his noiseless moves, Sam blinked. It wasn't his suddenly thunderous running that surprised her. It was his sudden stop. The stallion glared over his shoulder directly at Sam, then he struck the fence with a deliberate kick. Amazed, Sam wondered how the collision of hooves on wood could sound just like a dare. "Catch me if you can," that's what he seemed to say. Sam waited for her friend Jake Eli to laugh out loud. Being Jake, he didn't laugh. He smacked his dusty Stetson against his jeans and leaned against the rails of the round pen. With glossy black hair tied back from browned cheekbones, Jake looked a lot like his Shoshone father. He did, at least, until he squinted against the sun and gave Sam the world's smallest smile. Then Jake looked like a lazy tomcat. "Now you've got 2 horses talking to you, huh, brat?" Jake was 16, just over 2 years older. He and Sam had been friendly enemies forever. During summer and after school, Jake worked on Riverbend Ranch as a cowboy, but he'd never stopped teasing her like a big brother. 3, Sam said, jerking her thumb toward the big pasture. "You forgot Ace." Hearing his name, the bay Mustang with the perfect Arab-shaped face trotted toward the fence of the 10-acre pasture. He tossed his head, his black forelock flipping to show his white star as he came toward Sam. He didn't get very far. Strawberry, a big roan mare, darted forward, ears flattened. Ace stopped.